Hey guys, Thunderstruck MTB here. Hey, I grabbed the camera. I haven't rehearsed this for a second. I got my computer and off we go. This is going to be something a little bit different. Don't worry, channel is not changing. Still going to be components and reviews and tips and tricks and all the stuff. Me walking around the garage. Nothing's going to be changing. Just this video. Give me another 20 seconds before you turn it off. I wanted to make this, and my intentions are just to help one person. If I can help one person, be it now or 10 years in the future, if they say, oh my gosh, this helped me find my switch, it'll be all for everything. So here we go. This video here is about this dude right here. So that is me. That is me on the left in 2012, and that's me on the right very recently. The dude on the left, at that point in time, I was 326 pounds. And I've always at that point, not always, that's me as well. I'm 9 years old. And that little dude is very skinny. My mom used to call me Tinker Toy Knees and Skinny Bones Jones and all sorts of fun and insulting things that I loved as a kid because I was just so skinny, just so active and spastic, and that was me. And then about probably 2 months after this picture here was actually snapped, I fell on my 77 YZ80 and broke my collarbone. There's a jersey right there. It had to be cut off me. Kind of can see the cut there on the right side of the jersey. Had to be cut off, but I fell, broke my collarbone at Indian Dunes Raceway in Southern California, and that kind of forever changed the trajectory of my life. Didn't heal quickly, no surgery back in those days, a lot of pain, sat around and ate and did nothing as a kid, and ate, man. And before you know it, 6 weeks later, I went from Skinny Bones Jones to a husky kid that had to have all new tough skins and whatnot because I didn't fit in them anymore. And looking back now as an adult, that was sort of the time where I guess in my mind, my brain, where I started associating food and the instant gratification of taste and comfort with, how to handle physical pain, emotional pain, whatever else. And from that point out, it was a battle, up, down, up, down. A lot of times I was, super duper fit. Like right here, this picture here, that's me in 1984. That dude right there thinks he's going to be a factory 250 racer. And that was as fit as I've been. So that was just, super duper fit. So, and then all of a sudden not. So, yeah, you're probably asking yourself, well, how'd this guy get to that size there? Well, if that little dude struggled when, he broke his collarbone, you can probably imagine the grown me had sort of a life-altering injury, lower back injury, resulting in 4 back surgeries, 3-level fusion, lumbar fusion, 360 degrees, 2 different 8-hour surgeries, a day apart, one from the front, one from the back. Kind of life-altering stuff that I still deal with 24/7 to this day. I'm just much better at dealing with it than I was. And so, yeah, so I pretty much got myself to that size, feeling sorry for myself, just didn't handle it well, lost myself for about, a decade, a little more than a decade. And eventually I kind of hit rock bottom where I was able to find my switch and turn it on. So about 1.5 years, if you can believe it, before this picture is taken, in middle of 2010, I had emergency heart surgery. I spent 2 nights in the ICU. Now I'm lucky enough to have never been in any type of a war, a battle, nothing, police, life or death stuff. But I will say this, that ICU was the scariest place I have ever been. The noises and sounds that came out of that ward, I'll never forget them. And that was, again, right around April of 2012. And I was the first patient that calendar year to be discharged straight from ICU to a car to go home. Every single other patient either went to like their own room or a different room on a different ward for a day, 2, a week, a month, whatever, before they were discharged, or they died. And I was able to walk my ass out of that ICU, get into the car, and go home. And yet, a year and a half later, I'm still that dude. I'm still that unhappy guy, suffering with GERD and acid reflux and sleep studies and sleep apnea and high blood pressure and everything else. And it isn't until another year and a half after this that I finally hit rock bottom and found my switch. So now you're probably thinking, holy crap, if the, heart surgery and ICU didn't do it, or do you even want to hear the next story? And that's what's kind of funny is I wish it was more dramatic, but here's how I hit rock bottom. My wife worked for Bank of America at the time. She gets an email from HR saying, hey, if you want to, you and your husband save some money and have your deductible waived for the year, show up to our health fair and we'll waive your deductible. About $1,500 a piece. Heck yeah, let's waive that deductible. So I show up to a health fair. In a nutshell, it's a little 8x8 room. I'm in there with like a 25-year-old dude, someone who I have never seen before, will never see again. And I sit in the room. He takes my blood pressure first, then he draws some blood. Then he says, okay, let's hop on the scale. So, okay. So come over and hop on a scale, and right here in front, big old numbers, digital numbers, up comes 326, 326. And I was like, but that's still not rock bottom. And I was like, wow, okay. I always kind of told everyone I was maybe 260, 270, but I kind of thought I was closer to 280. But there it was right there, 326. And I was like, all right. So then he says, okay, we're almost done. Let me grab the flexible tape here, and we'll get some few measurements, and we'll get you measured. So he grabs flexible tape, measures my calves. Then he measures my quads, and then he measured my neck. And then he goes to measure my waist, and he goes around, and the tape measure isn't big enough. It's not long enough. So he looks up at me kind of embarrassed and says, oh, I'm sorry. Let me go over and grab another one. He apologizes to me, and he goes over to a different drawer and picks out the big fat guy's tape measure and puts it around my waist, and we get the measurement of my waist. He apologized to me. Rock bottom. That was it. The switch in my brain was located instantly and was switched on instantly. Waited in the waiting room. My wife came out, about a 20-minute drive home. Didn't say a word for the first probably 15 minutes, and she's like, what's wrong? I remember telling her that I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it, but I have got to get healthy. I've got to lose weight, or I'm not going to be here to see my daughter graduate college, get married, have kids and a family. I'll be dead. And I remember telling her also that I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that at this point, it's either you're with me, you're against me. And that didn't mean like, divorce or anything else. That simply meant it's going to be much easier for two of us to do this than it is me doing my own thing here, because I was fully committed. My switch was on. And my wife is just an absolute rock. She just jumped in and said, let's do it. Let's do whatever we need to do. So most people, once they haven't seen me for a while, they hear the story, or if they, whatever, they will hear this, see this, they'll ask, well, how'd you do it? What's your secret? And, did you have surgery? No. And I always get a feeling they're a little disappointed when I tell them how I did it, that they wanted some, I don't know, Atkins diet or the vegan diet or the eat nothing but meat diet. At the end of the day, I simply ate the foods that the doctors always said we should eat there in that food pyramid when I was a kid growing up. And I simply decided I was going to keep track of my calories. I was going to ingest a lot less than I burned. I was going to eat less and up my activity level. So I started weighing my food, measuring my food. It was a real eye-opener. I would always, I had a serving of oatmeal. No, I never had a serving of oatmeal. Once I weighed it and I saw it, it was like, actually, that was 3.5 servings of oatmeal, just for an example. So it took me a while to retrain my eye compared to what I thought was a normal serving. And I just sort of went at it. And I had about 1,500 calories a day. I got as active as I humanly could. I walked. I still have my expedition, my specialized expedition, like city/hybrid bike. And I got on that and I'd ride maybe sometimes just a half a mile, and about all I could do at the time, all on sidewalks and whatnot, and just did the best I could while still head down, just eating a lot less and constantly being hungry. I was hungry 24/7. And in those early days, I told myself I was going to turn the physical feeling of hunger, I was going to turn that into a physical feeling of how much love I have for my daughter, to prove it. And so I turned it, and I didn't just say it. I said it, and I bought into what I was selling, hook, line, and sinker. And guys, that was really, really key in the early days where I was so hungry all day long. I didn't see any changes in the mirror. I didn't weigh myself. I wasn't going to weigh myself for months. So I just didn't see any changes. So I just kept on hammering, head down. Food was going better. Getting used to it, getting used to being hungry all the time, for a better word. And getting the weigh day was coming up, the next month, something like that. Still didn't see any changes in the mirror. Kind of thought to myself, yeah, I think I feel better, but that was all just sort of anecdotal and subjective. And then one day, kind of brushing my teeth or doing my hair or something in the mirror, and I was like, oh, wow. And I just saw, and I was like, wow, I could see a change. And that right there started a massive, great, never-ending circle. The more change I saw, the harder I tried, the more change I saw, and I just kept hammering. And I was really worried about loose skin. I'd seen a lot of, Biggest Loser and shows like that where I was worried about loose skin. So I started doing push-ups on the counter of the kitchen, things like that. And then that progressed to actually doing them on the floor, trying to do a pull-up. Eventually got to where I was doing like 6-7 pull-ups. Went from doing a third of one to 6 or 7 throughout the months. I just tried to stay super patient on it and give myself a break and go from there. I never had an off day in eating. I stayed after it. My wife and daughter, they jokingly call me all or nothing. And that's the only way I know how to do it. So I just kept hammering at it. And eventually I got to a point where I said, if I get down to 225 pounds, I'm going to buy myself a real mountain bike. And long story short, I got down to 225, came and went real quick and started to keep on going down. Went and got myself a 2-year-old Jamis Dakar XCR mountain bike, and actually got riding on some dirt roads again and out in the desert, but all dirt roads. And I remember one of the days I've had the bike for maybe, 3 months, 2 months, and I'm now about 220 pounds, something like that. I'm really close to where I want to be. And I kept looking up at the foothills thinking, man, there used to be some real nice single track up there, 15 years ago, 18 years ago. I wonder if that's still up there. And I thought, I can never make it up that hill again. And I thought, I'll give it a try here in a few months. I did the brakes. I stopped. And I said, bullshit. We're going to try it right now. I was already kind of gassed at that point from whatever ride, and I thought, I'm trying it. And I started hammering up the... Started hammering up the climb and got to the top of the single track that I hadn't seen in like 17 years. It didn't change. It still looked exactly like my mind said it would look. It overlooks the house. It overlooks our small little town. And I got to the top of there. And I remember just crying for 90 seconds, like full full on boohoo, could not even barely keep my balance about me because, not because I was sad, because I was so proud of myself that I had grabbed life back. And I had it in me the whole time. I did. I had it in me the whole time. If getting to the guy on the left to the right, if that's climbing Mount Everest, finding the switch and turning it on that day in that room was like getting to within 100 yards of climbing Mount Everest. Losing what turned out to be 121 pounds, that was like the last 100 yards. That was the easiest part. Every single day for a decade, every single day for a decade, I woke up and the first thing I said was, today's the day I'm going to lose weight. And every single night I went to bed was, it's okay, tomorrow will be the day you lose weight. So, all of us, most of us, we have something, we battle something, right? Weight, cigarettes, smoking, drinking, whatever. I don't know how to tell anybody, myself included, how to find the switch. I wish I could. If I could, I would, and I'd do it for free for every human out there. The only thing I can tell everybody watching this, whatever it is you're battling, is you do have a switch. You do. It's in there. You got to find a way to access it. When you do access it, you'll know it right away. There won't be a question of, is this it? You'll know right away, and you can do it. You can change your life with whatever it is you are trying to do. You can absolutely change. So again, I just wanted to make a video here. A little bit different, I know. I think it's important enough. A little bit of cycling in it, right? There's a little bit of mountain bike story in there. But anyway, that dude on the left, man, he was just existing. He was just existing. That dude on the right, well, he's living now. He's absolutely living. Whether or not he drops dead tomorrow, doesn't matter. He's been living ever since. So, again, guys, gals, I hope at least just one of you found this video useful. I know it's a little bit different than my usual thing. We'll get back to more components and all that good stuff here in the next few videos. But I did want to throw this up. Maybe I'll do an update to this on more of my diet and more stuff later. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.